give me the next few minutes and I'm going to walk you through the difference between joining the boot camp versus taking an advanced degree like getting a master's. All right, so there's some key differences that you're going to need to consider before joining the program. And so this video is going to walk you through the differences so that you can make an informed decision and decide whether or not you'd like to join us in an upcoming session. So let's head on over to the iPad here. I've got my whiteboard up. We're going to talk through all these different categories. I'm going to give you the bootcamp version of what it is versus the master's version of what it is. And then we'll have the full comparison. And then at the end, we'll be able to make a good decision as to whether or not this is a good fit for you in the next steps in your career. The reason why I'm putting together this video is because we want you to make an informed decision. Joining any sort of training like a boot camp or a degree requires initiative, it requires commitment, and we obviously want you to be in the program. We don't want you to feel like you have to take this program to get to the next step in your career. We want you to be in our group so that way you get the best results in your career and then you refer all your friends and the cycle continues. All right, so let me grab a blue pen here. We'll do boot camp in blue and we'll do master's degree in orange, okay? So the first difference between the boot camp and the master's program is the outcome. So if you are looking to get a degree, you are going to need to go get a master's. We do not issue degrees. So we're not a university. We don't have any sort of we're not an ABET accredited university because we're not a university. We're a technical training company. We help people advance their careers and we're privately owned, but we're also decentralized education, which means we believe that it's important to learn from experts, not just academics. And again, this is coming from somebody that had 4.0s, over 4.0s. I had a very strong academic career, so I'm not poo-pooing, the academic route. It's just we're not that. We are here to help people get hands-on practical experience, leveraging expertise from people that are actually working in the industry versus people that are following a curriculum. So the outcome for the boot camp is an industry ready portfolio. And what that means is you're going to have a tangible collection or a library of projects, videos, demos, things that you can actually speak to that prove you know what you're doing. And that way, when you go into an interview or you're at a job fair, or you're speaking with a hiring manager, or even running a technical meeting, you have the confidence to present things technically because you've done it so many times. So we get into a lot of repetition around practice. And we'll talk about the methodology here in a minute, but that is the main differentiator between our program and taking a master's program. You're not going to leave here with a degree. We do issue certifications. So if you want to add that to your resume, but that's not really why people sign up for this program. The main reason why they sign up is because they want an industry-ready portfolio that actually proves they are the best fit for the job, and they want the experience of going through and solving application-based problems versus sitting in a class. So that's going to be the next one. We are application-based, which means you're going to be doing 100% projects, whereas in a degree program, you are going to be focused more on taking lectures. You're going to be doing exams. You're going to have probably some homework. And it falls under maybe more of a category of curriculum. We have a curriculum, but it's, like I said, it's industry first and it's application based, which means we're going to start with an industry problem. For example, one of the projects we do is in agriculture. The problem is, how do we monitor plant health across multiple farms without physically being at each location? So that's the problem we are solving for. We are solving for it by creating a prototype that can collect sensor readings and share those readings and run analysis against that, okay? To determine if we have healthy plants or not healthy plants. Whereas in a lecture, if you were in a master's program, you might be focused on the tangible, tactical ways, the tools. So you might be focused on learning, Verilog or C++ programming or embedded design or PCB creation or whatever you're taking on a topic, you're learning a skill. You're not necessarily saying, how do we use C++ to make a solution or a prototype for a project? So we are 100% project based. If you are a hands-on type of person and you learn best by seeing it in practice, then you'll love our bootcamp, because that is the format. If you are looking for an academic experience where you show up to a class and there's somebody lecturing on a topic, that is not our format. You won't like this program, so I would recommend checking out the masters instead. Now, the methodology is also different. So we use a framework or a method called the TDP method, which is train, do, present. And so the methodology came from my experience working in the industry, where I was getting thrown a lot of varying problems and I didn't feel like I was prepared to handle them, because when you take a class, everything's very linear. They just teach you a skill or they teach you a topic, but you don't have any real way of knowing where it fits in the bigger picture of things. And so this is where the methodology came from. So you train, you learn a particular skill, but then right after you learn it, you apply it to a project, or you use it to solve a problem. And so we do a bunch of labs. You'll do 20 plus labs in this program where you're actually completing a project, you're solving a problem using the skill that you just learned, and then finally you're going to present your answer. So I'm doing a demo right now on video. Well, you're going to do this for all of your projects as well, because it isn't just good enough to be knowledgeable about it. You need to be able to articulate and communicate your ideas effectively. And this process creates this feedback loop where over time, the more and more presentations you do, the more comfortable you get with sharing your ideas. And this will help you get a leg up when you're in interviews or when you're at job fairs or when you're networking, if you can clearly articulate your ideas. And so we give you a lot of practice with that. Now, if you like that methodology, then you're going to like our program. But if you're the kind of person that wants to go to a university and you want to utilize their methodology, which is very linear and skill-based, for example, if you're looking for a way, if you want to be a really good Python programmer and you want to take Python, that is a class, that is a course. You're going to go through the modules sequentially, and you're going to learn the syntax and the best practices and the classes and the methods and the methodology for a skill, rather than looking at the problem and using the skill as the solution. So it's a very linear progression. And that's fine if you're at a certain point in your career where you need a baseline. But if you're trying to get things moving along quickly and you want to be able to pick up a bunch of skills really fast, that's the slow way. It will take a lot longer to learn skills this way, just purely due to the nature of you having to go through all the predetermined checkpoints and do the homeworks and do the quizzes and take the tests and whatnot. And so if that's the experience you're looking for, then you would be better served in a master's program. Now, in terms of location, we are 100% online and remote. And we have learners all over the globe. So we have people in Europe, we have people in, obviously, the US, we have people in South America, we have people in Australia, we have people in Asia, so, and probably other countries that I'm not naming right now, but we are a global organization, so we serve everybody around the globe on multiple time zones. And so everything is all online. We run our programs asynchronously, which means you work in your own time zone, you work when you're the most productive. If you have questions, you ask them, it goes into our queue, and we answer them. And that's kind of how we work, so that we're not making you attend random classes at random times, try to coordinate time zones for everybody. That would just be too difficult for people. And it allows you to work when you work best. So if you're working full time, you can take this whenever you have free time. And we'll get into it in a minute, this is a part-time program. We don't really have anybody full-time in this program, because this is a program for professionals. So I'll just put that under experience. This is part-time, and it's async. And that kind of gives you the power to determine your schedule. We give you templates of schedules and we tell you your checkpoints so that you stay on target, but it's ultimately up to you. You have a lot of ability and flexibility to make it work within your schedule. Whereas The location for your master's, they do have remote programs, but they also have in-person. And it's usually a, set time that you have to go to these lectures at a set location. So you don't really have as much say over when things get done. And so if you're looking for something in person, we don't offer anything in person. So obviously getting a master's degree, if you want to go to a university, you would need to apply in for the master's program. We just don't offer that. In terms of the demographic, and what I mean by demographic is kind of just an assessment of the average, the bulk majority of the clients that come in, the students that come into our program. The demographic is generally, and I'm going to put a range in here because there's always an exception. And so if you're not in this range, it doesn't mean there's anything against you. This is just what we're seeing on a day-to-day, is we're seeing 20s to 30s and generally less than $100,000 a year in salary. That's generally who we're seeing. Now, do we have people that are making way more than this in the program? Yes. Do we have people that are way older than this in the program? Yes. Do we have people younger than this in the program? Yes. But I would say the bulk majority, that middle, like 67%, bell curve, 20s and 30s, they're looking to get to that next level in their career. A lot of entry level, a lot of second jobs. So you've had your first foot in the door, now you're trying to get your next move, you're trying to progress up. Sweet spot, I would say, is people coming in around the, let's say, $60,000 to $80,000 a year mark, and they're trying to figure out, how do I get myself to 100K? How do I get myself to 100K? And that's the question they're thinking. Now, do we have people in their 50s in the program? Yes, we do. Do we have people making more than $100,000 in the program? Yes, we do. But those are kind of like the outer edges of that. Now, whereas the master's program, depending on the school that you go to, it's going to depend who you're with. Now, there's kind of two categories that I've seen historically. There's going to be almost like the corporate masters, where you're going to get a lot of like corporate employees, Fortune 500 company people working in there, and that could be like 30s to potentially 50s in those types of corporate masters programs. That's what I've seen. Or you're going to get the recent bachelor's graduates inside of there doing master's degrees, and so you'll get kind of like the 20s. And again, two sides of this. The corporate side, you're going to get these kind of like anywhere from probably similar range, like $60,000, $70,000 a year to low 100s doing their corporate masters, whether that's a master's in engineering or a master's of business administration, an MBA, and they're trying to again make that next jump. Usually these corporate folks, they're like low six figures, and they're trying to get to mid to upper six figures. So like that 130 to like that 180 jump with a master's degree. So it just depends on what you're looking at, but that's kind of the comparison that I've noticed, and just knowing the data that we deal with for the demographic that we serve. The time frame. So our boot camp is 12 weeks. You can stay in the boot camp. Theoretically, you can stay in the boot camp as long as you're willing to pay for the boot camp. We do have an extension. You can do that. Do we recommend it? No. Do you have to? No. We want you to finish this as soon as possible. We want you to finish in the 12-week time frame, because we've noticed if we give you longer than that, you'll just wait until the last 12 weeks to do it. And so that's why the program is 12 weeks. We've tested all kinds of time frames, and 12 weeks is really what we've seen to be the sweet spot for keeping you motivated to complete it, but also for you to retain all of the information so that you don't have to restart. And then third, you build that momentum. So the nice natural progression after the boot camp is for you to actually go to interviews and start presenting your work, and you remember it, you recall it a lot better. So it's 12 weeks, whereas a master's degree, you're looking at, let's say, 2 to 3 years. Maybe 1 year if you're in a BSMS and you're just bolting on your master's degree to your bachelor's degree, but you're looking at 2 to 3 years in that program. Hours a week, I always tell people 5 to 10 hours is like that middle range. We do have people that spend way more time on it, and we have people that spend way less time on it. It's gonna kind of depend on what you're coming in with. If you're an engineer, you've already done your bachelor's degree, and you have a mechanical or an electrical or a software background, you probably don't need as many hours as somebody that is a career switcher coming from marketing. And so just keep that in mind. This is like a rough ballpark. What I will say is this is designed to be part-time. This isn't supposed to be 40 hours a week, but you might be closer to 20 hours if you're, coming from a non-technical field and trying to make your way into tech, just because of the fact that you just don't have that prior experience. If you're more technical, you might rip through this in, I don't know, 5 hours a week. I have no idea. What I will say is the amount of time you spend is an accelerant. So if you spend 20 hours this week, you'll get through the material faster than if you were to do 4 weeks of 5 hours. Same 20 hours, but it'll take you 4 weeks versus you going through it faster in 1 week. So time is an accelerant, whereas in university, a lot of times they recommend if you're doing this like BSMS or you just graduated your bachelor's and now you're doing full-time master's, then the time is in the name, so full-time. You might be quite literally spending more than 40 hours. I know when I was a student and doing my bachelor's degree, I spent more than 40 hours working on schoolwork. So you're looking at 40 hours, I would just say 40 hours plus, maybe, depending on what you're studying and the setup. If you're in that corporate master's program, I think they're a little bit more lenient in terms of how much time they expect you to spend. So maybe it's a little bit scaled back. Maybe you're looking at 15 hours a week. I don't know. But you can find that information out from whatever university you're investigating and what you're trying to figure out whether or not this makes sense or pursuing the master's. Now, the sweet spot, we did talk about it, the less than $100,000 a year. So instead of going with sweet spot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a big one that should be on this list. And that is, you guessed it, tuition. So at the time of this recording, we are currently at $34.99. If you look at our website, that's going to have the most up-to-date pricing. And so $34.99, that's the tuition, whereas degree programs, let me actually change the color on this. I didn't realize I was writing in black. Degree programs, they're going to cost you a lot more than that. So at least in the US, and granted, we're a US-based company, so we go off of our local economy. If you are somewhere else in the world where this is a lot of money or a little money, then I can't really say. I just know, like, for what we offer and what we're doing, that's our price. And if you wanted to get a master's in the US and you're looking at engineering or potentially MBA, depending on what you want to do, you're going to be looking at the average degree, I believe, is $35,000 a year. Let me quickly pull some numbers. Cool. So I was right on the money with this. I just wanted to pull up a Forbes article just to make sure that I was being accurate with what I was saying. So August 2023, this is Forbes. They're just speculating on the cost. So the average cost of a master's degree is nearly $40,000, and I said 35. Probably went up. This is 2021. Let's see. Cost of master's degree 2025. Let's see what we got here. Highest paying master's degree, master's program. So average tuition fees for a master's degree range from $25,000 to $70,000 per year. So again, if you're going to go, MBA, or you're going to go to a private school, or you're going to go and, get that name brand recognition, you're going to be paying for it. And so our program, and let me move myself out of the way because I think I am blocking the view. Let me move myself over on this side. There we go. Now you can see what we're looking at. So 35,000 roughly. And we saw estimates from 25 to 70, depending on what you're doing, and depending on where you go. And so for the experience, for the price, for what we offer, the reason why we came to this $34.99, it was not by mistake, to be honest with you. We priced this in a way that would make sense for the person that wants to go through this process and wants to leave, in a position where they're not taking on a ton of debt. They can make their money back. They can have a great experience. They can share it with their friends. They can refer people to us. We just wanted to make this, really great for everybody involved. And so this is the math that we do when we're looking at costs here. So we already know that if you go the master's degree route, you're looking at scholarships, you're looking at, loans here in the US, you're looking at student loans, you're looking at potentially paying out of pocket, you're looking at maybe employer sponsored. But to be honest, you could have your employer sponsor this too. We've had plenty of companies just pay the tuition fee for their employees to go through this as part of their professional education package. A lot of employers are fine with it, and they usually just use the corporate card and they just let their company pay for it. So if that's you, I would check with your manager and see if you guys have like a department corporate card, and you can just go right online and sign yourself up. But here, let's do the math, because as technical people, we like to just see all the numbers. So this is where we got it from, okay? So if all we did was help you make $25 an hour, and that number comes from engineering interns. We work with interns in our mentorship program. We work with full-time professionals in our mentorship program. This is really the target that we aim for that first level role. Now, granted, if you are, somebody with 30 years of experience, we already talked about this. That's not our typical demographic for what we're trying to accomplish here. But if you're just taking this, to be more knowledgeable, to get more practical experience, you're not really looking at it through the lens of needing to advance your career, could be worth it for you. But here's how we do it. So $25 an hour, engineering interns, or you can kind of like your entry level target. If you extrapolate this out full time, that would be $1,000 a week or $4,000 a month. Our program is $34.99, 501. You'd actually be up over $500 in your first month of that job, and then subsequent months you're on target to be making $48,000 a year in month one off of a program that costs you $3,400. So you've over 10 times your money in the first year. And that's what we do this math off of. Now, if you're coming in, and I'll kind of move over here. If you're coming in and let's say you are kind of you're already entry level, this program can help you get maybe one next move. So you're going to move one step up. And what we tell people is, and these are real numbers, by the way, if you go to salary.com, $62 an hour is what the average robotics engineer makes. So if you're average, you're looking at $62 an hour. Let's do the math quickly. 62 times 40, that's $24.80 a week, times 4, that's $9,920 a month. You've made your money back in less than 2 weeks. There isn't a program out there that even exists for this. And I know because when I was working in the industry before this program even existed, I would spend $5,000 for 1 week on a manufacturer training, 1 week. And this program is 12 weeks long. It is asynchronous. It's flexible. It's interactive. It's project-based. It's designed to put you in a really good position, genuinely. Like, that's why we built out the program the way we built it, because we literally want you to come in, go through the process, spend the next 12 weeks with us, build out your world-class portfolio, then go present it to employers, go to job fairs, go to interviews, present your work, prove that you actually are legitimately good at what you're trying to get a job for, and then make a bunch of money. Why? Because that's the whole point. That's why we're here, is we're here to help you advance your career. We're not here to waste your time for 2 to 3 years, make you pay, you know, $25K a year, $20K a year, $35,000, whatever that number is for a degree. We're not here to entertain you for 2 to 3 years and make you and leave you with a large bill. That's not our goal. Our goal is to get you on a momentum path, where you're constantly building momentum and you're making these little incremental steps that compound over time. That is our goal. And so these are the real outcomes, or the ROI on these programs. So you'll get, if you're on the intern kind of spectrum of this, or at more entry level, making a career switch, a lateral move, then you'd be looking at an ROI in 1 month, less than a month. Or if you are entry level, you're an engineer already. To be honest with you, if you're an engineer already and you need more practice and you're tired of just like BSing yourself with sitting and binging YouTube and reading a bunch of tutorials and just wasting your own time, like if you're already at this kind of or close to this level, you're just wasting your own time. You should just hop into this program because it's going to pay for itself in a couple weeks, and you'd be serving yourself better going through this program and having the experience of using TDP in your own practice to get faster at decision making and faster at solving problems accurately and then presenting your skills. I know that I'm super biased saying that, but I've seen it happen for thousands of people where they come into the program and they start, day one, not using TDP, not comfortable talking. And we have video proof of people going through that transformation where we see their first intro video to their last demo video, and it's like a totally different person because they've had enough practice over time. And so that's basically the difference between the boot camp versus getting a master's degree. We are at the point in this video where you have all the information. We've got the website. If you go to learnrobotics.org/now, you'll get brought to the page with all of the information. We do not gatekeep anything. Everything you need to know to make an informed decision about this program, we have out in the public. I actually got rid of our sales team. We do not have a sales team anymore. We are not here to twist your arm into this program. We are here because we want you to succeed. We want you to say, you know what? Liz's content is awesome. I love the methodology. I love that it's streamlined. I love that it's no BS. I love that it's going to just help me cut through the noise. I'm in. We want you to get to that spot and make that decision for yourself. We don't want you to feel like you have to do this. And if you feel that you need a degree to get to where you want to be in your career, you should apply in for that university program and go that route. Like there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you feel like you need more practical experience because you've done a lot of theory and you feel like you've got all the concepts, you've got all the certifications, you've got all the credentials, but you don't feel like you can actually go out into the universe and implement it, then come join us for 12 weeks and we'll fix that problem for you. You'll leave with the ability to solve just about anything with lots of different tools. So again, go to learnrobotics.org. I'm going to use green here because that's our color. Go to learnrobotics.org/now. That's going to bring you to the page. We've got the info packet. If you haven't gotten a copy of that, you can download our info packet. It's a nice comprehensive Google Doc that you can read. You can read my full story about the experience and how we even came to come to all of this, how we actually built the program out. You're going to get to watch more videos of me walking through. We actually give you the full expectation video before you even sign up, so you can watch that video. I have videos more on TDP and our methodology. And if you decide, this is an awesome fit for me and I want to be part of this, then you can sign up right online. And we do have a handful of seats left. Depending on when you watch this, space is extremely limited. We do cut the groups so that we're not inundated with thousands of people. We want to actually know who you are and be able to help you and support you on this. So if there is an open seat and you want into the current session, choose to sign up sooner rather than wait later. Don't wait, because if you wait, then we might not have any seats for you. So if that sounds good to you, we would love to be a part of your career advancement story. We'd love to help you get to that next step in your career. You can go to learnrobotics.org/now, and that'll give you all the information you need to get started, and then to also submit your registration right online. So thanks again for checking out this video, and I hope to see you in an upcoming session. Bye-bye.